In the first lesson, we looked at basic editing of audio in the timeline. At this point, the audio flows correctly with the edits, we've removed unwanted audio from clips, and performed some basic panning. Now it's time to begin cleaning up the audio. We'll begin by taking a look at the magic fixes Final Cut provides, the audio enhancement tools. We touched on them before, but we'll cover them in detail now. Open the Audio Fundamentals project. Towards the end of the timeline, you'll see the clip Rent Money. Select it, then choose Show Audio Enhancements from the Enhancements menu. We can select or deselect by clicking here. Notice the alert icon appears to the right when it's deselected, indicating that Final Cut Pro 10 has detected an issue. Let's dial in the background noise reduction effect. When you're making adjustments to audio, it's almost always a good idea to interactively hear the changes as they're made. Press / the keyboard shortcut to play in to out.
Oh, I owe you.
As you play back, disable and enable the noise removal to hear the difference. Continue to press / each time you want to repeat the playback.
It's fine. No, whatever. Oh, I owe you rent.
With the removal enabled, try adjusting the amount slider.
Oh, I owe you rent money.
Oh, no, please, it's fine.
No,
whatever.
I've got all this cash. Oh, I owe you rent money.
Oh, no, please, it's fine.
No,
whatever.
Oh, I owe you rent money.
Pay careful attention. You usually want to remove as much noise as possible without affecting the tonal character of the sounds you're trying to keep. It's better to be left with a little noise than to create an artificial sound in your audio. You'll also see later in the course that we can roll off some more noise with an EQ without damaging the audio we care about. Let's go back to our main scene. Even though Final Cut Pro hasn't identified noise as a problem in other clips, it doesn't mean that we can't still use it. There are several clips that have obvious noise levels we need to adjust. Right at the start, the door clicking clip has audio that we might want to use in the final project rather than replace it with Foley. Right now, though, it has too much background noise. Select it and enable noise reduction in the inspector. If you look at the waveform, you'll see that the noise has been eliminated, but the sound of the lock clicking has been reduced too much. By the way, to navigate back to the regular inspector, click the arrow in the top left corner. And to access the enhancements from the audio inspector, click the Show button to the right of Audio Analysis. Double-click Audio Enhancements first if the Analysis section is hidden. Back the amount slider all the way down to 20. Notice that the noise is still being removed, but the lock sound is well preserved. There's still a little noise, but it's a dramatic improvement. The same is true of I'm Pedro.
I'm Pedro.
We'll pull this down to about 40% to keep the noise removal from shaping the tone of the dialogue too much. We can deal with the rest of the noise through EQ and ambient sounds.
I'm Pedro.
As an exercise later, go through and work on managing the noise on other lines of dialogue. Let's turn our attention now to the loudness section. Jump over to the ha clip and take a listen.
Ha! Two guys coming over.
That ha obviously needs taming. There was clipping and distortion in the recording itself, and there's very little we can do about that, but we can use the loudness to take the edge off. Drag the level down below -20 dB. This takes the edge off the offending ha, but also makes the rest of the dialogue too quiet. Loudness is a compressor. We'll learn more about compressors later when we work on adjusting dynamics. For now, think of loudness as evening out the changes in volume in a clip. That way we can reduce the volume of the clip to deal with the ha line without turning down the rest of the audio too much. It's called loudness because it allows you to make everything louder without clipping the peaks of the clip. Let's take a look. Undo the change to the volume. Enable loudness. Amount sets how loud a sound needs to be before its volume is reduced, while uniformity determines how much the sound is reduced. The effect of uniformity is making the volume of all the phrases in the dialogue closer. Set the amount to 50% and the uniformity to around 30. Take a listen.
Two guys coming over, that's right, I totally forgot.
You'll want to reduce the overall levels a little now. Notice that the ha is less painful, but you can still clearly hear the rest of the dialogue.
I totally forgot.
Disable loudness and listen again.
Two guys coming over, that's right.
As we've already mentioned, we'll go into detail on compression in a later lesson, and once you're familiar with it, you'll probably use a different tool for cleaning up extreme variations in audio. But in a pinch, loudness is a quick fix. In fact, the loudness enhancement has created an unpleasant artifact in this clip. The breathing between phrases is almost as loud as the dialogue now. When you're faced with situations like this, it's usually better to manually animate the volume level of the clip instead. Compression should be reserved for more gentle adjustments. Make sure the loudness is disabled, then option-click the volume control line to create a dip right around the ha sound. Now the offending sound is suppressed, but we haven't forced up the quieter sections of the audio.
Two guys coming over, that.
Let's talk about the final enhancement, hum removal. This is a very specific issue. Take a look at the hum sample clip at the end of the timeline.
Is it that blue car parked out back in the driveway?
Line hum is simply buzz picked up due to magnetic induction when an audio cable is in close proximity to an AC power cable. Hum removal works by notching out the frequencies around 50 Hz or 60 Hz, depending on the country you're in. Different countries use either 50 or 60 Hz alternating current in their power supplies. In fact, that's the only option you have to set on this enhancement. If there's a hum in your audio, choose either 50 or 60 and enable.
Is it that blue car parked out back in the driveway?
If there's still remaining hum, you'll need to resort to a dedicated EQ to treat it. Loudness, noise removal, and hum removal aren't the only audio enhancements at your disposal in Final Cut Pro. When you looked at audio enhancements in the Audio Inspector, you may have noticed a section called Equalization. Here you'll find a number of presets with exciting titles like Voice Enhance, Music Enhance, and Bass Boost. Here's the problem. With EQ presets, Final Cut Pro has absolutely no way to know what kind of audio is being fed into the EQ. This makes the presets very limited in what they can achieve. For example, blindly applying the Music Enhance preset to a music bed will give dramatically different results depending on whether that music is classical, reggae, rock, or blues. Don't worry, in a later lesson you'll learn just how to use EQ to tame your audio, but this is one set of enhancements you'll probably be wise to avoid.
I'm just not used to visitors, but wow, it's really nice to meet you guys.
Now, to the right of the equalization is a button to open the graphic equalizer HUD. You're probably familiar with graphic equalizers from consumer stereo systems. Each fader represents a different band of frequencies. This can be handy to make quick adjustments to the tone of your audio. In the lesson on EQ, you'll learn how to use a more powerful EQ tool, the parametric equalizer. But if all you need to do is boost a little bass or cut some treble, the graphic equalizer seen here may be all you need. One other feature here is the match audio option. This allows you to take the tone of the audio from one clip and attempt to apply it to another using automatic EQ. In some circumstances, it may help, but don't expect miracles. Let's take a look at an example. In the "That's My Boyfriend" and "I Gave Him a Key" clips, we have the character Jennifer recorded in two slightly different positions in the room.
That's my boyfriend Duncan and his friend Pedro. I forgot to tell you I gave him a key.
Select the "I Gave Him a Key" clip, then from the equalization menu choose Match. You'll see the viewer split in two. Click the boyfriend clip to load it into the left of the two viewer displays, and this will be the clip you're trying to match the current audio to. Click Apply Match. As mentioned before, results may vary, and this is one occasion where the results are definitely not great.
I forgot to tell you I gave him a key.
You can click the EQ button to access the Match EQ HUD and then adjust down the Apply slider to see if a more modest adjustment will help.
I forgot to tell you I gave him a key.
To be fair, Match Audio is most useful for situations like voiceover recording where a pickup session is colored just a little differently to the original recording. We're just about done with basic audio enhancements, but one thing we still need to do is listen through the entire project and adjust volume levels to create an even volume mix throughout. To help evaluate audio levels, we'll use the built-in audio meters. If they're not already visible, choose Window, Show Audio Meters. You can resize the meters by shifting the effect pane to the left a little and then dragging to expand the meters. In computer audio, levels are measured in negatives, with 0 being the loudest. You want to avoid your levels ever reaching 0, or you'll most likely end up with clipping.
I forgot to tell you I gave him a key. Sorry.
Instead, foreground sounds like dialogue should average around -20 and peak no higher than -6. Most importantly, trust your ears more than the meters. It's more important that the levels of each clip sound natural alongside each other, even if they don't perfectly match in the meters. Now, some of the clips have already been keyframed. So how do you adjust the overall level of a clip like that without messing with the keyframes you've set up? It's actually quite simple. Let's look at the Ha clip we worked on earlier. With the clip selected, press and hold the Control key and tap the plus key to raise the volume in 1 decibel increments. Tap the minus key to lower the volume in 1 decibel increments. As you can see, the entire volume of the clip is raised or lowered, and any keyframes you've set move up or down by relative amounts. One caveat, however, if you're using an extended keyboard, the plus and minus keys located on the number pad do not work. So make sure you use the plus and minus keys to the left of the delete key.